Yo, welcome back to another video, guys. In today's video, I'm going to break down the trades that I took. This is going to be 2 days worth of trades because I forgot to make a video for one of the previous days. So this is like 2 total wins for this week. The week of, what would it be, June 16th through June 20th. So this will be 2 wins for that week. The last video I went over was 2 losses in the same day, testing out a different strategy. Unfortunately, it just didn't turn out very well. And yeah, if my haircut looks like absolutely cooked, it's because I went to Great Clips. Okay? Just don't go to Great Clips. Anyways, so breaking down the trade. We'll break down the one from Monday. It was actually on Monday. So if you look here on Tqqq, we look on the 15-minute time frame. I waited for our shadow supply strategy to take effect, and simultaneously, this was happening. We had this high over here. Price came up into the high, created that 15-minute wick, which is longer than the body and the bottom wick combined. Like just barely. I'm talking by like absolute pennies. But it met the criteria. And I basically took this trade and I'll show you on SQQQ. This is exactly what it looked like on SQQQ. You can see I took this trade here. Once we had this aggressive push up on SQQQ, aka aggressive push down on QQQ, we pulled back a little bit, started finding support at that 13 EMA, and then I entered. My stop loss, this is perfect because my stop loss was below the high of day on QQQ, low of day on SQQQ. So perfect stop loss area, but I wanted to target a 2-to-1. I wanted so badly for price to come back and fill in this area, like this area, right, and all this accumulation up here. I wanted it to move back to that area, and we did overnight. But I had already sold out by then because I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to take a 1-to-1 and just leave and just be done for the day. So to be honest with you, this isn't super accurate. I ended up just holding this thing all the way till right about here. And then I sold out for the 1-to-1. It was like slightly above a 1-to-1, but regardless, it wasn't a 2-to-1, that's for sure. So, and then as soon as market closes, we rip exactly where I wanted us to. So it would have been a 2-to-1. Unfortunately, it was a 1-to-1, but nonetheless, it was a winning trade using the shadow supply strategy. All I did was simply wait for that 15-minute candle to form on QQQ, showing us that we had some downside pressure, accompanied with the fact that we were running into these highs over here, and we had just pushed up so aggressively. Like, we gotta pull back sometime, right? We get that candle, boom, and then we wait for the retracement. Obviously, I didn't wait long enough, but we caught a little bit of it. So that was my trade from Monday. My trade from yesterday, which is going to be Wednesday, and if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I posted this on Instagram, the reasoning, the breakdown, all that stuff. So if you don't want to watch these videos, then you can look on Instagram and get the same idea. But Instagram is down, maybe it's not down below. I'll have to link it down below. It's Evan Suarez 7 on Instagram. So with that being said, yesterday, this was my trade. We simply waited for a 15-minute wick to form, right? This is the strategy. I'm bouncing between 2 different strategies. I'm actually somewhat combining them. So we've got the shadow supply strategy, which I explained in the previous trade just now. We've got, which is basically the wick, the bottom wick or the top wick is larger than the body and the opposite wick combined. That's one strategy. The other strategy is the 15-minute opening range breakout. I take that if it presents itself first, or I take the shadow supply if it presents itself first. Whatever presents itself first, I take. And if there's one later on in the day, then I'll possibly take that one as well. But try to limit myself to like 1 to 2 trades a day. So with that being said, as soon as we opened, we pushed down, right, on QQQ. I'll show you on the 2-minute time frame. This is what it looked like. Push down, aggressive push back up. What did that form? A 15-minute candle wick. Beautiful. There were three main confluences with this trade, and I think I already explained them in the previous video when I was live in this trade. But three main confluences. We have the shadow supply strategy, so this 15-minute wick formed, beautiful. Second, we swept overnight and pre-market lows, beautiful. Third, we ran into a 15-minute, which is also a 1 hour fair value gap, boom. And I guess you could say the fourth thing would be all I really waited for was like a 2-minute break of structure to the upside. So a 2-minute break of structure. In this case, I'll draw it out so you guys can see if I can find it. The 2-minute break of structure, basically for me, not necessarily a break of structure, just kind of like a break of pattern. But 2-minute fair value gap, pushed up, closed above, and then this one, if I can move it. And then this fair value gap right here. Okay. We start pushing up. And once we started pushing up, I'm like, all right, we're going to close above that. Like, I've seen this. I've seen this before. We come down, we take lows, and then we go up to the next high. And that's exactly what we did. So I'll show you what it looked like on Tqqq. This is Tqqq. Boom. This is where I entered. I entered at approximately 73.87. I bought 250 shares at 73.87. And then I sold all of them at, actually I sold them at 74.91, which is a little bit of a better exit. But regardless, if you guys want to see that, I screenshot the positions that I take and everything on Instagram. I post them on Instagram so you guys can see that I'm actually trading with real money. So just social proof there for anybody who's wondering. But other than that, that was the trade. Like, this was actually one of the most beautiful setups I've seen. 15-minute time frame, took the lows, bounce out of fair value gap. We got, this beautiful wick right here, and then 2-minute time frame, we got the close above fair value gap. And I was able to set a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, knowing that we could go up here and take these highs, and I entered at the perfect time so that we had a proper amount of room between where I entered and the bottom. So even if we would have came down here and chopped around in this area, it doesn't even matter because my stop's all the way down here. And we already took the low, so we're probably not going to go past that low again today. So yeah, those were 2 trades. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you learned something from this. This was like bro, this strategy is actually like crazy. And just like word of advice for anybody who's maybe struggling out there or anything like that, I've definitely been there before. And you can see in the previous video that I took 2 trades in one day trying to test a different strategy, right? And I haven't felt like that for so long just because I've been taking 1 trade a day. But when I took those 2 trades in one day and lost both of them, like, I actually was like about to go on tilt. Like, I actually felt like I wanted to like make my money back. I was like, yo, like I'm about to get my money back. Like, cause I lost $180. I was like, I'm about to get my money back because this is messed up. But like why did I lose twice? Right? Because when you're in that trade, when you're in that second trade, for me, the first trade, the loss, okay, cool. The second trade, I'm always thinking about the previous loss. If I don't walk away from my desk, fully, just change my mind on everything and then come back with like a clean, like a clear mind, then I don't end up, taking another good trade, which is kind of what happened with that because I just tried the same strategy on it, just bouncing within the previous day range. And I'll show you guys real quick just to, if this helps out, if this helps somebody kind of understand what I was looking for. We had the 15-minute high, and then we had this 15-minute low day before yesterday, Tuesday. And all we did was, I saw us bounce right off of this low and move right up to here. And I saw this rejection and I wanted to see us just move back to like right here, down towards the bottom / middle of the range. I entered my trade and then we pushed up and I got stopped out. And I literally got stopped out. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, my stop was like right here, right in here, right? and I got stopped out, and then it started moving in my favor again, and I was like, yo, what the heck? And obviously, as you can see, it ended up moving down overall in the day. So like I would have been right, but just because I tried a different strategy that didn't fully align with everything that I've been doing recently, it kind of messes up your psychology in that sense. So with that being said, like if you have a strategy, stick to that strategy. Make sure that every bit of your criteria is met, and don't take anything outside of that, because if you take anything outside of that, essentially what happens is you take a loss, and then you wonder why you lost. And then I end up just going on this spiral of like, yo, am I not understanding this? Is this not making any sense? Why is it not making any sense? But if you just take your strategy, like follow your strategy and follow your plan to a T, then, and if you get it wrong, then like, hey, you can go back and look, this is why that went wrong. Like, for example, here's a 15-minute candle wick that's longer than the bottom, or than the body and the bottom wick combined. But why would I not? First of all, I didn't take this obviously, but why would you not take this trade right here? Right? We took a high. Well, but we took a high. No, we didn't take a high because all the overnight highs are up here. So what does price want to do? It actually wants to go up to those highs before reversing back down. And you might experience some chop in between there. But if I were to take this, right, after this candle formed and entered right about here, I would have gotten stopped out easily. Easily. But I can go back and identify why I got stopped out, and I can look and think to myself, well, it didn't take the overnight highs. And what did price do after it took the overnight highs? It moved to the next area of liquidity. So you can go back and look at that, but if you like veer off from your original plan, from the strategy that you've been building, and you make a mistake and you lose money, first of all, you feel like crap because you just lost money, and then on top of that, you can't figure out why you lost money because you didn't follow your original plan in the first place. So that's just some advice here at the end of the video. So hopefully you guys stayed this long to hear that, and hopefully it changes some trading habits for you. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Like this video for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.